Insane. Entitled parents try anything to get adult child to move back in. I, 22F, met my partner, 23GF, on Facebook dating when I was 20 and they were 21. I had never been in a relationship and was on dating apps for years at this point. We clicked shockingly quickly and were messaging each other constantly. We had so many similarities neither of us thought we'd see in another person. We saw each other's character extremely quickly. It was like looking in a mirror. So we became a couple after 2 dates. There was no question about it. I saw some odd behavior from their parents very quickly with how restrictive they were about our initial meeting. I wasn't allowed to pick up my partner. The dad had to come with us, and he even took a picture of us at the restaurant to prove to the mom he stayed with us the entire time, though he just drove around the plaza to give us some privacy. I dismissed it as them wanting to make sure I wasn't a catfish or something, so I didn't think it would continue past our first date. I met the mom on the second date. I went to church with them since my partner was forced to go. We're both atheists, and that's where I saw all the red flags. I joined them on an outing and wasn't even allowed to drive myself there. We barely got the chance to be out of earshot of the family. The mom only told me hello, and it was nice to meet you the entire time. And when my partner tried every opportunity to include her, she has a history of being upset when not included. She would just be ITCH at them like it was a personal attack. I was infuriated having personal experience with those types of comments from my own mother, who I temporarily cut off at 18. So I mentioned what I saw in our phone call that night to make sure my partner knew they tried their best, and it wasn't their fault she reacted that way. We officially became a couple a few hours later. We made a relationship update the next morning, and naturally the mom was making comments to my partner about us moving too fast. My partner tried everything to tell her about me, but she would either get upset or find something to not approve of despite it being in line with her morals. We could only see each other on the dad's schedule, so of course it conflicted a lot with mine. I got increasingly frustrated that I couldn't see my partner on our time like we weren't both adults. The fact that I had been so respectful of their stupid rules and never complained, only to get no respect in return, made me start playing it my way. I worked only a few minutes away from their house and got off around midnight. So I got the idea of asking my partner to sneak out so we could go to some late-night restaurants. My partner hadn't done that before, nor I, but we successfully did this 5 nights in a row. We had our first kiss the first night in the middle of their street. It honestly felt like a movie. On the 3rd night, my partner complained that the dad wouldn't buy more allergy medication and didn't want to use up the mom's. So at work the next day, I decided to deliver the medication and some goodies from Walgreens. I asked my partner first, of course, but they assumed that I was getting it delivered to MY Place for our meetup that night. I thought if the parents were going to get upset, it would be because I had their address. The mom exploded over this, then gave my partner the silent treatment. The dad came in to explain to my partner what was wrong, saying it was weird to get someone medication outside of marriage. It was too expensive, and my partner was leeching off of me. I was obviously baffled and infuriated. My partner was being punished over something I did. It was $25 over-the-counter meds and an absolute gift. My partner never asked for it. It was MY idea. And who were they to criticize the way I spend MY money? On night 5, the mom put a parental lock on my partner's internet, probably to hinder contact with me, as if phone data doesn't exist. My partner had enough and took me up on my offer of staying with me. So they took a bag and their cat and ran away that night. At 21, my partner left a note making it clear this was their decision, not mine. The dad called the next afternoon, obviously upset and begging my partner to come home. He then showed up at my work, but he obviously was only there to beg for his kid back, not have a proper conversation about why my partner left. So I wasn't interested. Our intention was to shock them into perspective that they needed to respect my partner as an adult and weren't entitled to a relationship with their kid if they treat them like shit. That is exactly what I did with my mother, and our relationship has never been stronger. Our terms were that we could all discuss what happened and why together, but my partner would not do it without me because I would make sure things were properly communicated without risk of them intimidating and manipulating my partner. They refused, citing it as a family issue, as if I wasn't involved and they weren't actively villainizing me. So their other option was going to therapy. The dad's dumbass assumed I wouldn't listen in on their phone calls. He actually agreed to speak to my dad, I live with him, and then tried to use my father's conversation to manipulate my partner by twisting his words to make it sound like my father agreed with him that he is right to make my partner come back. He also tried to use the fact my partner couldn't drive and didn't have a job or life skills against them, but who was supposed to teach them? I easily saw through his tactics, but my partner was not able to defend themselves against it. If the dad just talked to me, I could answer his concerns. Not only did I rent my first apartment at 17, but I had done the research and been prepared to help a friend become independent with even more hurdles than my partner. I was literally the best person to handle this entire situation, as if all my life experiences prepared me for this relationship. He kept saying things like blah 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 wasn't logical, trying to make my partner feel unreasonable. They literally thought my dad and I were sex traffickers and outed my partner to their grandparents, so they disowned my partner. The mom demanded $200 for my partner's phone that wasn't my or my father's money and would only hand over SS card, and BC needed to get a job if my partner gave her their cat, which was in my partner's name and with their own money, until she got the money she wanted because you clearly love the cat more than me. The dad eventually convinced her to hand over the documents. My partner agreed to go to Taco Bell alone with him to get the documents and talk a bit. That's when he presented an ultimatum he wrote with the mom. It said my partner had to move back home or with the grandparents before the outing, and I think 10 days with the benefits of them helping my partner learn to drive and get a job, freedom to see me whenever, and getting therapy. And if not, they would cut off from the family, phone, and health insurance. My partner just said whatever to make the conversation end. I read that it and said, bet, then ordered a new phone line. I was literally yelling, call their bluff. What? We're just supposed to trust them to keep their word even if my partner agreed to it. The mom then blasts this family matter on Facebook, saying my father and I had my partner in a stranglehold, continuing this narrative that my partner wasn't capable of making their own thoughts and decisions. My partner fought with her in the comments, and she even said, if you think it's forever, you're fooling yourself and you're burning all your bridges as you go. As if this woman who said 2 things to me knew the longevity of our relationship. They finally arranged for the mom and my partner to see a counselor. It didn't go well the second session, so my partner refused to go back. But in these sessions, the mom said she knew I was a bad person during the medication debacle because my partner shrugged at one of her questions, which was giving her an attitude, which was clearly picked up from an outside source. Obviously, they just kept going. They said they listed the house for sale so they could move out of state because this situation was too much. They were literally forcing my partner to choose between them and me. I never wanted that. I suspected it was a lie, but my stepmother confirmed the house was never listed for sale, which is even more rich because my partner told her they wanted a new therapist because the second therapy session made them ideal. And she completely ignored that, then said she needed to talk later so she wasn't too distressed before the realtor comes. The dad kept insisting my partner reach back out to her and reassure her that my partner loves her and this isn't her fault. But it is. So my partner finally blocked them both. Then the dad took their brother's phone and pretended to be him. So my partner also had to block their brother. All because the parents couldn't understand they weren't entitled to a relationship with their child. There were more shenanigans from the dad through email and physical mail, but he finally agreed to have a discussion with both of us a year in. He finally gave up after I wrote him a 6-page email laying out everything he needs to take responsibility for and everything he would need to do to mend the relationship, and my partner had their own version cussing him out. It felt like an argumentative essay about why he's an asshole, including sources. The silence is bliss. Oh. And we're 2 years in now and engaged. The ring was in an allergy meds bottle.